A woman who is hiding behind a tree in the jungle. Fear is clearly visible on her face. Suddenly, a hand appears and starts scratching that tree. This was a stinky and very ugly-looking bear who had come after their lives. Right above that tree, the woman's child is also present, who climbed up to save their own life. But now it seems their life is about to end because this beast has started climbing up. On another tree, there was also a ranger who was so terrified that he started abusing this bear, which the bear heard, and its ego got hurt. Then what? It took a jump, reached straight to that tree, and said, "You called me fat?" Saying just that, it ripped off one of his legs and left him there to die. Seeing this spectacle, both mother and son were left horrified. Another female ranger is also present there, whose aim never hits the target right, due to which all her bullets get finished. So she runs straight from there toward the station so that she can call someone for help. However, when she reaches the station, two boys are already present there who are themselves injured. The ranger immediately starts loading bullets into her gun, but in the meantime, someone arrives at the gate. Could it be him? Everyone becomes alert. Everyone feels fear. Everyone's throat goes dry. Exactly that kind of situation happened. One of those boys opens the gate, and sitting right in front was that very same bear. Seeing this, the ranger shoots, but this time too, her aim misses and hits that poor boy's skull, opening up half of his head. The terror of her marksmanship was such that both of those boys were now terrified of her, but the game has just begun. The very next second, some sounds start coming from the ceiling. It looks like it has climbed up. The ranger gets alert again. One boy goes and stands near the gate in the hope that as soon as it comes, he will run away, but it came from behind and ripped his head right off. Such is the terror of this bear. A plane filled with 34 kilos of cocaine was being illegally transported by a man to another country, but right in the middle of it, he finds out that some trouble has come up in his plane. That is why he started throwing all those cocaine-filled bags down. One by one, he threw all the bags down, but now he also has to go down himself so that he can collect all those bags from there and deliver them to their destination. Otherwise, his boss won't leave him alive. When all the bags reached down, he took his parachute and set off to jump himself, but at the crucial moment, his head hit the ceiling of the plane. Instead of going down, he was sent right back up, though his bags of cocaine had already reached down. The day after this incident, a couple who is going to tie the knot in just a few days has come here to spend some moments together. We saw that wherever these two are, those bags are lying right around them. Both trek and reach the highest peak, from where they get to see a very beautiful view of the jungle. But along with that, Christopher spots a bear right there who was extremely massive. He informed Alina about this too. Both saw that the bear was strangely hitting its head against a tree. The very next second, it stood right in front of them. Christopher's throat dried up, but he told her to stand quietly right there. However, Alina's senses were completely blown away. She just had to run away right then, which is why she left everything behind, even leaving her would-be husband and running away. To hell with it. If life remains, I'll find another husband. That was her belief, not ours. So now poor Christopher runs after her, but as luck would have it, his foot hits a stone and he goes tumbling down face first. Now that bear is standing right behind him, staring straight at him, and Christopher just starts chanting God's name, but nobody knows what got into that bear. Instead of coming close to him, it went over to Alina and, in a single jerk, ripped off her arm and threw it right in front of Christopher. "Look, brother, I've put your to-be wife's arm in your hand. Go get married." The police had caught America's biggest drug dealer, or so it was believed, but a man named Sidney, the biggest mafia he used to work for, is still not dead. Panic had broken out everywhere. Everyone thought that the government had caught Sidney, but it didn't happen that way. Instead, he is sitting in a cafe listening to the news of his own death. He has found out that his supplies haven't reached the dealer yet, and there is no contact with the pilot either, due to which he is a bit worried. That is why he told his man Sid to take Andy, who is his own son, and go into the jungle to search the place where the plane crashed, because the powder in it is worth crores. Here, we see Sarah, who is a single mother and is getting ready to go on a date with her boyfriend, but her daughter doesn't like all these things. Still, her mom asks her to come along too, but she refuses. Now Sid, on his boss's orders, reached Andy, who was sitting in a club crying because his wife passed away a few days ago, and in that grief, he is shedding tears here. In memory of his wife, he even got a tattoo made, but that tattoo artist wrote John instead of Jonna, a burden of which will always remain on his chest. The grief of this tattoo is greater than the grief of his wife's death. Sid told him that they have to go into the jungle because the stuff dropped there is worth crores, and that is his money. Sitting just a little distance away from these people, a man overhears their conversation and becomes suspicious that these two are Sydney's men. Over there, after Sarah leaves, Dee Dee, instead of going to school, goes into the jungle with her friend because she wanted to explore a place there. Here, you must have slowly understood why all the characters are heading toward the jungle one by one. It is because now the story is going to shift to the jungle, where terror is about to be unleashed. Bob gets a call from that old man who stated that he just heard two people talking about drugs near the bar, and he is fully sure that these people are Sydney's men. Bob, whose only goal in his entire career is to somehow catch that mafia red-handed, hands his dog to his assistant and leaves from there. When Sarah returned from her date, she found out that her daughter didn't go to school today, and now she isn't even at home. After knowing this news, she quickly checked Dee Dee's school bag, in which she found a jungle map with a mark on a place called Secret Falls. She understood that her daughter had gone there, so she first went to the forest rangers, but even they didn't know anything. When Dee Dee was present in the jungle, she spots a packet of cocaine. They have no idea what this thing is, which is why the adventurous bug starts biting them to taste that thing. John refused, but Dee Dee tasted it, and on her urging, John did too, but both spat it out within just a few seconds because it was extremely disgusting. Right near them was another pack too, which an animal picks up from behind. These two still have no clue that something like this is happening right behind them. Both were lost in their own talks when suddenly they heard a growl. When they turned back, there stood a very ugly-looking bear with cocaine powder all over its face. As soon as it saw them, it threw some powder sprinkles on them too. Both scream and run away from there. Sid and Andy are both heading toward the jungle, but in between, listening to a sad song, Andy starts crying again. Looks like bro had true love. Sid immediately turns off the music. When they stop at a place, some 16 to 17-year-old boys attack Sid, thinking Sid is a fool, but he gives them a proper thrashing. During this, he gets the same packets from them. After eating, which they too had started considering themselves Salman Khan. Sid brings one of them to consciousness and asks where they found this. At first, he refuses to tell, but later, so as not to have to take another beating, he agrees to take him to that place. Bob the officer has also left to catch these two. When Sarah goes ahead from that place to search for her daughter, she sees blood on a stone midway, and her heart breaks. Did that bear kill her daughter too? But later, she finds out that this is not blood, but red paint that her daughter applied as a marker so that those coming to help her could find her path. An ambulance had reached the ranger office, but they couldn't even open the gate because a corpse was lying right behind it. Beth somehow pushes the gate, and after going inside, their senses are blown away. There is blood everywhere. There were pieces of human flesh. Nearby lay that half-dead markswoman ranger who was alive, but nothing was coming out of her mouth. Seeing her own marksmanship, this was her condition. When the second man reached the other room, he saw the corpse of a boy whose head and torso were present right there. He was also confused as to where his head could have gone, when suddenly, a flying head came from above like a football, and the footballer who threw it also came into view. His breath tightened. Quietly, he started closing the gate, but how can an ordinary gate stop him? It breaks the gate, falls right on top of him, and climbs onto the gate itself. Henry tries his best to somehow pick up the knife lying nearby, but his hand couldn't reach it, so he picks up the red-colored bag kept nearby and throws it at him. That junkie bear thought it had pot in it too, so it reached near him. These people got a chance to run away from there. Beth immediately takes the ranger, sits in the ambulance, and starts driving away. Henry was also behind, but before he could climb onto it, the sound of that bear's ambulance-like roaring was heard. Then what? It chased after it like police officers chase students. Beth drives the ambulance at full speed, due to which it couldn't climb up, but finally, it did. Here, once again, the ranger's marksmanship starts. The bear was behind them, and she was shooting at a tree, seeing which Henry also holds his head in his hands. What kind of woman is this, brother? Who made her a ranger? That bear was running like a Ferrari on drugs. It took such a long jump that it landed straight inside the ambulance. As it arrived, the ranger fell out of the ambulance along with the stretcher and kept dragging along for many kilometers. There were 3 people left in the ambulance: Beth, Henry, and that junkie bear. Henry catches the bear red-handed. Henry repeatedly tells Beth to increase the speed, due to which he narrowly escapes many times, but this very speed takes both of their lives because, in the chukker of looking back, Beth crashes the ambulance into a tree, due to which she flies straight out and Henry goes right into the bear's mouth, while that marksmanship equipment stayed right there with the stretcher.
In the second scene, Sid, Andy, and that boy are all wandering around in the jungle. That boy still hasn't found the place he brought them here to search for. Meanwhile, Bob has also reached the jungle, where he spots that black-colored bag on top of a hut, so he immediately climbs up onto it.
The atmosphere became even more serious when that bear arrived there, seeing which the breath left their bodies. It first came to Sid, but didn't do anything to him, and then walked outside. Jonathan and Sid lay down right there to save their own lives, so the bear thought Sid was his dead wife, and it lay right down on top of him and went to sleep. Jonathan, lying to the side, was also shocked. What on earth is this, brother? Everyone is left thinking. When Sid checks, his breathing is going on. At that very moment, that packet falls from his pocket, the smell of which reaches the bear's nose, and it wakes up again. Thank God it moved away from Andy's top. It swallowed that packet, and then started dancing like a drunkard, and also started making Andy dance. Andy's life was in his throat, thinking it might just detach his head, but it kept dancing along with him. Then, Bob throws a packet in another direction, due to which it went that way, and their lives were saved. It tells them to go away from here, but Sid won't leave without the cocaine, which is why he points a gun at Bob. Bob wasn't any less. He also pointed a gun, but suddenly a bullet came from behind and hit Bob straight, and he fell down. This was Sydney, about whom Bob's assistant had already told him that she was in cahoots with him. Knowing this, even in his final moments, Bob curses her heavily. Sid tells his boss that the bear ate their cocaine, hearing which he curses him 4 times and says, "Are you talking nonsense? Are you in your senses, man?" Over in another direction, Sarah finds her daughter's bloodstained t-shirt, but right near it, they find Christopher. Yes, the one from the beginning. He is still alive. Sarah asks him about her daughter, so he tells her about the bear's cave. She might be hiding there. When these people reached that cave, they also saw the bear cubs there, who were also completely lost and intoxicated on cocaine like it was. They had no sense of what they were doing. Over there, Sarah finds Dee Dee, who tells her to walk from the other path, because sounds have started coming from outside. The screams of Christopher, which clearly mean he is no longer alive. When these people came out from the other path, it was actually a waterfall and a dangerous cliff below. They all slowly and cautiously move forward along that narrow path. Actually, this is the secret falls that Dee Dee was talking about, but she didn't know that something like this existed here. Anyway, as they all move forward slowly, Sydney and the rest of the people arrive there with guns. They are shocked to see these people. What are they doing here? Sydney thought they had come to steal their cocaine, but Sarah says she's a nurse. What would she do with drugs? Right there above, a bag was hanging from a tree branch, which he picks up, but suddenly those small bear cubs arrive and grab Sydney's legs. He tells Sid to shoot them, but he just can't do it because they are so small. How could he kill them? But for Sydney, only that cocaine mattered and nothing else, which is why he pushes one of them down. In the meantime, the sound of death arrives from above. The mother has come. They threw her baby down. On top of that, a mother's affection, and on top of that, weed intoxication. Double dangerous. Sydney's legs started shaking. Everyone's condition turned terrible. Sarah and her companions jumped down the waterfall, but Sydney still wanted that one bag, to get which he shot at the bear several times. Both of his men also jumped into the water right behind him. When the bullet hit, the bear went down and fell, or you could say, it died. Now Sydney starts taking away that remaining bag, but seeing their mother killed, those babies start crying and tear up Sydney's bag. One of the packets fell out and burst open. As soon as the smell of cocaine spread in the air, that dead mother woke up, reached the top, and did something to Sydney that we cannot even describe. The people who jumped down survived, but Sid got an injury on his neck, though he was alive. At the end of the story, we are told that in 1985, this incident actually happened. The police force investigated extensively, but they never found Sydney's 34 kilos of cocaine-filled bags. But listening to the story of the people who survived made everyone's soul tremble.